Wildfires are becoming more intense and frequent than ever before, and it's no longer just a wildland issue. It's affecting communities each and every day around the world. In this video, we're going to talk about how GIS helps both GIS professionals with data and applications to understand these phenomenon, as well as those that are new to GIS to really just explore maps and data that help them understand their communities in the context of wildland fire risk. We believe GIS makes a difference in this fight, both in preparing and responding. So let's take a look at how ArcGIS supports this mission. Now you may be asking yourself, why is GIS in the conversation of wildland fire? Well, it all comes down to where the elements are ripe for a fire to take off, where good fire can occur and help us manage the landscape, and where people and places that we care about and the infrastructure that we rely on are at risk from a fire occurring. As you're a GIS professional, we're talking about resources that can help you understand not just fire potential, but where fire is occurring in real time and understand the spread of that potential fire into a community, for example. And if you're a non-GIS professional, you just need applications that bring all that information together, help us understand all those conditions that work together, and tell us exactly where to pay attention and when to pay attention. I'm going to be joined by my colleague again, Lisa Berry. She's a senior GIS engineer here and an evangelist on our Living Atlas team who's going to talk to both GIS professionals and non-GIS professionals about the great resources available today.
Thanks, Ryan. There's a lot of different ways to look at the where aspect of things before, during, and after a wildfire event. And Living Atlas has so many different resources to help you get started, even if you're not a GIS professional. For example, there are maps that you can just open and look at to just see what is going on right now in your area. And beyond these maps, you're able to also find apps within Living Atlas, like our Wildfire Aware app, that brings a lot of different information into one place and helps you get a sense for what's going on right now, no experience necessary.
So Lisa, what if I'm a non-GIS professional? Say I'm a principal at a school and I have parents asking questions. Maybe I'm an executive at a community center, a director, and I'm trying to help my community residents understand the risk of wildland fire. How can GIS help them?
Well, let's break up these two different scenarios. So if you're a principal, you might be interested in what's nearby your school so that you can better understand the students, where they're coming from, and the risks that could face your school when something happens. So Living Atlas has resources like, what's the land cover nearby? Are there mountains? Are those dry mountains with fuel for a fire? Or even just where are the evacuation routes for how we can get out of the school as quickly as we can during a disaster. But then on the other end of the spectrum, those community centers, that's going to be where people go during an event. So they may need to better understand what kind of populations they're serving during these types of disasters. So we have information from Living Atlas like census data to understand vulnerable population groups, elderly population, youth population, who doesn't have a cell phone or internet access. All of this information can be easily accessed from Living Atlas.
Hey Lisa, those are great examples of organizations using GIS to prepare for wildland fire. But what about when the fire occurs? What if I'm a hospital administrator and I'm looking at the news and understanding a fire starting nearby? Or maybe I'm just a resident in my neighborhood and I'm watching the news late at night and I hear a fire is potentially started near me. How does GIS help them prepare and respond in this immediate situation?
There are a lot of different resources to help a hospital understand the risks of the fire as those events are happening. So that real-time information can easily be pulled from Living Atlas in lots of different forms. So we have these things called aware apps. For example, we have a wildfire aware app. This helps you understand all the different factors that could be related to a fire, including the perimeter, the evacuation zones, the cloud cover, the smoke that's happening at that moment. That way you get a full picture of what is happening and how that might impact your infrastructure, your hospital. We also have live feeds to help you understand all different types of risks that could happen to your area. The air quality to impact the population, as well as things like the perimeter of the fire and the smoke that could potentially come from that fire.
Hey Lisa, those are great examples for non-GIS professionals who are understanding the value of location to help them prepare and respond to wildland fire. If you're a GIS professional paying attention, let's talk about how you can level up your maps and applications with data from the Living Atlas, helping you again understand the risk of wildland fire and how to monitor dynamic, changing conditions in real time using GIS data and maps from the Living Atlas. So Lisa, how about our GIS professionals that are already using ArcGIS to map and understand their communities? What tools and data are available for them to start leveling up their game to prepare and respond to wildland fire?
If you're already using ArcGIS, Living Atlas has so much content to help kickstart your workflows and really just bring you to a great starting point. For example, we have ready-to-use layers, which are foundational. These can be added into your existing maps, or you can create brand new maps with them. And speaking of maps, we also have ready-to-use maps that you can just use. You can zoom these to your area and save. Now that's your map. We also have analysis tools. So we have a whole set of pre-trained deep learning models to help you understand the risks before, during, and after an event. You can better understand the impact to what happened by looking at things like buildings that might have been damaged during a wildfire. We also have VERS hotspots, which are derived from satellite imagery to help you see where there's potentially fires that aren't quite captured by the perimeters at that point. We also have things like land cover to help you better understand the fuel for a fire, so you can better understand where there might be arid areas that might burn more easily during a fire.
I think a great use case of this technology in action is with the U.S. Fire Administration here in the United States. They're using GIS data to look at the built environment and the landscape around them to understand this growth between where we build neighborhoods and where the wildland starts. GIS is a great tool to understand how those two interact, and not just how they interact, but digging into the questions about how landscape is changing, how the weather conditions impact their decisions to plan for where wildfire may begin. Like, this is a good example of GIS-driven decisions around how we plan and prepare for wildland fire. Well, I think one of the most exciting things for those GIS professionals paying attention is that these data sets, these applications exist today. You can use them directly inside of your tools and your maps, your dashboards to get started. And if you don't have a fire preparedness plan, if you're not thinking about response already, now's the time to start doing that work, and these tools are available for you today to get started. Now, what I'm excited about where we're headed is some of the great advancements around machine learning and artificial intelligence. In the response phase, we're looking at how we can better understand fire progression in real time. And after an event, how we can quickly understand damages to help expedite recovery. Again, this is about efficiency in driving that process so that those who are impacted get back on their feet as soon as possible. So Lisa, maybe you could show people a bit more about the work we're doing in research and development around these AI tools, in this case, GeoAI, to help understand wildfires.
Deep learning packages can greatly increase your understanding before, during, and after a natural disaster like a wildfire. We have over 75 pre-trained deep learning packages available in Living Atlas. And now, if you've never run a deep learning package, that's okay. There's a wide range of resources to help you get started. Each deep learning package is fully documented with its own guide on how to get started and how to apply it in your area with either your own data or data from the Living Atlas. And if that doesn't work and you have more questions, you can utilize Esri Community to ask questions to the wider GIS community or Esri developers to help support you in your work. And there are also ArcGIS blogs available to help you support your work as well. These can help you with best practices or tips and tricks on how to get started.
Well, in the Living Atlas, there's a great new layer from Alert California. These are real-time cameras that show not just the view, but the view shed. And they're using AI to detect smoke and early starts of wildland fires. That's how it helps us prepare and understand the situation in real time. So for GIS professionals, this layer exists for you to add to your maps, immediately providing a level of intelligence around wildfires you've never had before. I hope now you understand better how GIS helps you make a difference in this fight against wildland fire. It's no longer just a wildland issue, it's affecting communities. So as GIS professionals working in those communities, take advantage of the data and the real-time aspect to understand these fast, dynamic situations. And if you're new to GIS and non-GIS professionals that are out there listening to me and are interested, the tools like Wildfire Aware are at your disposal, and they're freely available for you to access anytime to understand the phenomenon of wildland fire in the context of location. Get started today. Never better time to prepare than now.